Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to Government House. Excuse me. My name is Hugh Borriman. I have the honour to be Official Secretary to Her Excellency the Governor, and I'll be the Master of Ceremonies today. As we start, could I please ask that you ensure your mobile phones are turned to silent. We'd ask please no photography during the ceremony. You're welcome to take photographs anywhere in the House, including with Her Excellency afterwards. And of course, we have the official photographer here. The ceremony is also being live streamed and will remain on our YouTube channel on the website, so you can watch it from immediately after this ceremony. Before we continue, can I please ask you to join me in thanking the members of the Royal Australian Navy Band for their support this morning. I will now announce the members of the official party today. They are Mr. Tim Whetstone, representing the Leader of the Opposition, Ms. Dana Wortley, Member for Torrens, Commander Paul Worth, representing the Commanding Officer, HMAS Encounter, Lieutenant Colonel Aaron Jackson, representing the Army Area Representative, South Australia, Group Captain Brendan Rogers, representing the Senior Australian Defence Force Officer, Edinburgh Precinct, and Assistant Commissioner John Venditto, representing the Commissioner of the South Australia Police. Can I ask you now, please, if you are able to be upstanding for the arrival of Her Excellency the Governor and Mr. Bunton, and to remain standing for the playing of the Vice-Regal Salute.
Please be seated. Gana bogana alia, gana miana alia, yaichi miana alia, kumatana yartananku. Nyatu na tampandi, gana miana, yaichi yata matina, bukininanku, yalaka, takaricha. I acknowledge that the land we're meeting on today is the traditional land of the Kaurna people from the past, today, and into the future. And I want to feel especially welcome and acknowledge respectfully any Aboriginal people who may be with us today, whether from Kaurna country or other lands and regions. Rod and I welcome you all most warmly to Government House this morning. We strongly believe that this is a house for all South Australians, and whether you've had opportunities to visit previously or whether this is your first time, we hope you'll feel very comfortable here and later on explore the house in all the ways that we encourage. Let me start by acknowledging the recipients of the awards that I'm going to make this morning. All awards, I think this morning, announced in the Australia Day Honours List. It's wonderful to see you here. I know you've been anticipating this day for a long time, and I also know you've brought with you those you love most, those who've supported you to do the outstanding service or exceptional achievement that we're recognising this morning. And I hope for you all it will be a day to remember. This is really something quite extraordinary when you think about the service of the person you're here to support, but in the course of the morning you will also hear about the service of others. And it's the whole thing, if you like, that adds up to something quite extraordinary. And that's why we have our political leaders with us today. Dana Wortley, I know, is here in a personal capacity, but for current purposes, I'm going to say she's also representing the Premier. Tim Whetstone, MP, representing the Leader of the Opposition. We have our Army, Navy, Air Force and SAPOL representatives, and a couple of people who are quite special who you may not know in connection with this. I want to recognise Rick Morris, who's South Australia's representative for the Council for the Order of Australia, and Mr. Ken Coventry, OAM, who's representing the chair of the Order of Australia Association, SA. Now, extraordinary also because those I'm about to invest typically don't seek recognition. And for every one of these investiture ceremonies, there is always someone who takes me aside privately afterwards and says, I deleted the email that came from the Honours Secretariat because I didn't think it was real. I thought it was a fishing expedition or spam or something. And some people even say they showed it to their partners, they didn't think it was true either, and they deleted it. So if that applies to you today, I'm glad we've got through all of that, but it does speak to people's modesty and the sense that the awards they're receiving are also deserved, I suppose, by others. And it's on that point that I want to encourage you all, please, to nominate others you see who've given the same sort of outstanding service or are responsible for exceptional achievements. Because our national honours system only works because Australians choose to nominate their fellow Australians. And I know there are many more people worthy of that recognition, including here in South Australia. Finally, could I encourage recipients, please, to wear your insignia. I wear mine in some form or another every day, the small pin every day. On ceremonial occasions, I wear my neck decoration, or your medal, and there is a special miniature for evening wear. Anyway, there's guidance on the website for that, but please do wear them, and I do hope next time I see you, you will. It'll help me recognise you and remind me and others of your service. Official Secretary, let's get underway, shall we?
Your Excellency, the following recipients have been appointed members in the General Division of the Order of Australia. Ms. Sharon Ann Hanan is recognised for significant service to the community through a range of organisations and leadership roles. A career centred on improving customer service, community safety and well-being led to Ms. Hanlon's leadership roles in Crime Stoppers, both locally and internationally. What began as an invitation to join the Crime Stoppers SA board in 2011 led to her chairing that organisation 2 years later. She was also, until recently, president of the national body and has been president of Crime Stoppers International since 2018, the first woman to hold this position, although also recently stepping down from it. Before her time with Crime Stoppers, Ms. Hanlon's interest in corporate governance and public policy was evident in her choice of public and private executive roles in public transport, the RAA, and the Motor Accident Commission. Ms. Hanan has been praised as a strategic and supportive leader and says she feels privileged to be able to commit to her work with Crime Stoppers and the contribution it makes to the community. Ms. Sharon Ann Hanan. Mr. Robert Ashley Hoff is recognised for significant service to primary education and to professional associations. Mr. Hoff has given 5 decades of service to education, 46 years of them as a Lutheran school principal. He began work as a state school teacher in 1968 and just 5 years later became founding principal of a new Lutheran school. His career later took him to Queensland for 13 years before returning to work as a principal in Adelaide until his retirement in 2018. Additional to his teaching, he has undertaken roles on state and national boards and councils and is a life member of the Australian Primary Principals Association. Recognised for his ability to build strong school communities and support teachers, Mr. Hoff continues to mentor young principals and school leaders. He told The Advertiser that his childhood ambitions ranged from policeman to church pastor to teacher, and that teaching had encompassed all three. Mr. Robert Ashley Hoff. Mr. Raymond John Spencer is recognised for significant service to business and to the community through a range of organisations. As a successful businessman, Mr. Spencer has moulded corporations around the world. As an entrepreneur and philanthropist, he has made a significant contribution to South Australian society. Mr. Spencer studied law in Adelaide before heading to the US, where he founded his first company. He returned in 2009 after 35 years in the US, Europe, and India. He immediately took on roles in some of the state's leading organisations, chairing the Economic Development Board and the South Australian Health and Medical Research Institute. He is chair of Zen Energy and the Committee for Adelaide, and a director of Zero Co Australia, which delivers product with no single-use plastic. Mr. Spencer is also an ambassador for Impact 100 South Australia, which makes high-impact grants to local charities. He believes that great organisations have a fanatical focus on adding value and excellence in everything they do. He has been widely acknowledged for his commitment to ethical leadership and business culture, and retains an interest in emerging industries. He says that industriousness is in the South Australian DNA. Mr. Raymond John Spencer. Your Excellency, the following recipients have been awarded the Medal of the Order of Australia in the General Division. Mr. Geoffrey Dry is recognised for service to community sport and to the Church. Mr. Dry's commitment is to making a difference has created a legacy in community sport and spiritual leadership. He has been a cornerstone of the Burnside Hockey Club for nearly 3 decades, serving with distinction long after his son's active involvement with the club ended. As the current Director of Hockey, he's been instrumental in fostering a culture of inclusivity and camaraderie, ensuring that players of all ages and abilities can thrive on and off the field. Mr. Dry's impact on community sport is amplified by his involvement in state-level sports governance through his service on the boards of Sports SA and Hockey SA. His strategic vision and leadership have helped shape policies and programs that promote the growth, development and accessibility of sport for all South Australians. Mr. Dry is also recognised for his contributions to the Athelston Uniting Church, where he has been the Sunday School Superintendent, a Sunday School teacher and Chair of the Church Council, a role that he has held for 15 years. Mr. Geoffrey Dry. Dr. Barry Elie is recognised for service to tertiary education. Dr. Elsie's work has helped to shape the trajectory of tertiary education in South Australia for nearly half a century. During his time as an adjunct professor at the Adelaide Business School, he has helped more than 80 PhD students complete their studies and mentored many MBA students during their research projects. In addition to his work in business education, Dr. Elie served as the Senior Research Advisor at the Entrepreneurship, Commercialisation and Innovation Centre. In this role, he leveraged his expertise to support researchers, startups and industry partners turn their ideas into successful ventures. Dr. Elie's impact reached new heights at the Kepler Space Institute, where he served as the former Dean of Space Education and a distinguished visiting professor. His leadership helped position the US Space Institute as a global hub for space exploration and innovation, inspiring the next generation of space pioneers. Dr. Barry Elie. Mr. Nicola Minotti is recognised for service to the Italian community of South Australia. Mr. Minotti came to Australia with his family as a 4-year-old. As a child, his father would take him on business and community visits, and he would interpret for the Italian migrants. As an adult, he has continued serving the Italian and broader communities. A lawyer for over 50 years, he has acted for individuals and corporations, as well as consulted for organisations such as the Italian Consulate, the Italian Chamber of Commerce, and the South Australian Ethnic Affairs Commission. He has also supported Italian sporting and aged care groups. Having sold his legal practice, Mr. Minotti continues to run the family's property portfolio, which includes many of the properties where his parents worked or ran businesses and one of their early homes. A proud Australian, his hope is that the grandchildren of those early Italian migrants will maintain a connection to their Italian heritage. Mr. Nicola Minotti. Mr. Raymond James Norton is recognised for service to the community of Adelaide. Mr. Norton has led an adventurous life, which has also been one of service. He has served in the army, helped train hearing dogs, and jumped out of a plane on his 80th birthday to raise money for children's cancer research. He served at the Enfield Council for 17 years, including 6 as mayor. At one stage, he was a member of 54 community and government committees. Mr. Norton has been involved with the RSL for more than 50 years and is a past president of its Enfield branch. He has also been a member and office holder of the Lions Club for more than 40 years and says the highlights were helping to fund and train hearing dogs and assisting children with disabilities. Colour blindness kept him from joining the Air Force as a young man, but he is still looking at the skies. Although soon to turn 91, Mr. Norton says he'd like to try hot air ballooning, gliding and parasailing and make another tandem skydive for his 100th birthday. Mr. Raymond James Norton. Mr. Malcolm Alwyn is recognised for service to veterans and the community. Mr. Tierney served for 22 years in the Royal Australian Air Force, during which time he saw active service in Vietnam. His involvement with veterans goes back 11 years, assisting currently serving and ex-service members of the Australian Defence Force and their families gain fair compensation. As President of the Vietnam Veterans Federation, South Australian branch, since 2015, Mr. Tierney has worked tirelessly to assist a successful transition from defence to civilian life for veterans, working closely with the REPAT Veteran Wellbeing Centre. Mr. Tierney has also been actively engaged within the community for many years, involved in surf lifesaving, serving as President of the Port Noarlunga Surf Lifesaving Club for the past 3 years. The club provides programs for coastal and beach safety, life-saving services and education programs, starting with children as young as 5 years. Mr. Malcolm Alwyn Tierney. The late Ms. Lorraine Elizabeth Tyler is recognised for service to the community through a range of roles. Ms. Tyler's wife, Kirsten, will accept the award on behalf of the family. Ms. Tyler was a long-term advocate for health and well-being as a runner and promoter of lung cancer awareness. Associated with Park Run Australia since 2016, Ms. Tyler was also a board member for 3 terms at the SA Roadrunners Club, which saw her being involved in event coordination and running various festivals and marathons. She made an important contribution to Lung Foundation Australia as both chair of its Lung Cancer Consumer Advisory Committee and a member of the Lung Cancer Blueprint Expert Advisory Group. The CEO of Lung Foundation Australia, Mark Brooke, wrote that Ms. Tyler, quote, will be remembered first and foremost for her tremendously positive outlook on life, one that was not defined by cancer. End quotes. The late Ms. Lorraine Elizabeth Tyler. Your Excellency, that concludes the presentations for this morning.
Thank you, Official Secretary, and I'm sure you'll agree with me, everyone. I mean, you just listened to the citations for those we've invested with their medals this morning, and you wonder how they can do it. And I simply ask you, I think their service and their achievements speak for themselves, but let's congratulate them all together one last time.
Thank you, Your Excellency. If you are able, please be upstanding for the departure of Her Excellency the Governor, Mr. Bunton, and the official party. Can I please ask recipients to remain in the room for the official photograph and invite guests to join Her Excellency and Mr. Bunton in the morning rooms for morning tea. And as I said, you're welcome to come back into this room once the photo is done to take photographs and to look at the rooms of the House. Thank you very much.